We all have our own methods of studying, and that's completely fine because what works for one might not work for another. Some of us are morning folks who like to get most of their work done when the day starts. Others are night owls who focus best during the later hours. Some of us like taking digital notes while others stick to the traditional pen and paper. You get the point. But there are some other techniques that everyone should possibly stay away from. Hi guys and welcome back to the channel. My name is Nandini and I'm a rising sophomore studying journalism and dramatic literature at New York University. In this video, I'm going to break down certain study tips that you should probably never follow or quit if you already follow them. And I'm going to give you tips on what you can follow instead. So let's get into it. Studying in bed is probably one of the worst things that you can do for your productivity, concentration, and focus. And why is that? Well, your brain naturally associates your bed and its surrounding environment with the process of sleeping, which, by the way, I hope you're doing sincerely every single day. Whenever you get inside those comfortable sheets and covers, your brain automatically shuts down and turns on sleep mode. So if you're going to study while you're going to be in your bed or work while you're going to be in your bed, you're going to confuse your brain as to what task it's actually supposed to do. Studying in bed is also going to make you more distracted because you're more likely to pull up your phone and scroll through apps like TikTok and Instagram, and those 5 minutes will soon turn into like 4 or 5 hours and you won't even realize it. Studying on your bed is also going to make you waste time more because if you're like me and you study with a lot of books, pens, papers and files around you, you're not going to be able to efficiently stack them and organize them on your bed. You're probably also going to extend your break time severely if you're in bed. For instance, if you decide to take a study break for 15 minutes while in the comfortable position and surrounding of your bed, those 15 minutes can soon turn into a few hours because you might feel really lazy and distracted, and sometimes you might even sleep. So you will be wasting a lot of your time and you'll also be drastically reducing your productivity. So what can you do instead? Well, you can choose a designated location where you usually always study, for instance, your desk. Studying constantly at your desk will allow you to be fully focused because your brain will automatically associate your desk and that kind of study environment with getting work done. Sometimes switching up your study location is also usually advised. For instance, if you always study at your desk, which is in your home, you can go out and study in the park or in a cafe or in a library because that also sometimes refreshes your brain. However, usually studying at one designated location is usually advised because your brain naturally associates that sort of environment with the study space, so you naturally get more work done. Unless you're in a state of deep work or flow state, you're going to naturally drastically reduce your productivity levels and also lead to burnout if you study non-stop without taking any breaks. Now, what is a flow state? A flow state is a term associated with a person being completely absorbed in one activity. It's a feeling of energized focus and enjoyment in the process of that activity. You can get into a flow state by completely getting rid of all external distractions. Alongside that, you need to be working on one given task for at least 15 minutes, and after that you can go on and on and on if you're in that flow state. However, working in a flow state for all given tasks during all the times of the day is generally not advised. Now, I'm not a really big fan of the Pomodoro method, but I do believe that taking conscious, consistent breaks throughout your study period or work times will help you save your energy, save your fuel, and also increase your productivity and energy levels. So what can you do during your break time? I would naturally advise you to go for a walk, spend time with your friends if it's a longer break, eat something healthy and nutritious, or maybe even watch a couple minutes of YouTube. Anything that gets your mind off work and then also re-energizes you to get back into that study session later. It's very common for people of my age to brag about all the portion that they crammed in just one night before an exam, and that is just not good. Cramming all the portion for one exam in a single sitting or the night before or in a very short amount of time is not going to make you feel more prepared and more confident to take on that exam. In fact, it's only going to do the opposite. It's going to make you feel more pressured and underprepared. Also, if you're going to study last minute, you're not going to commit a lot of the portion to your long-term memory. The portion is only going to go into your short-term memory, and that sort of takes away the point of learning in general. Rather than focusing on the portion that you are studying, you're always constantly going to be concerned about the portion that is left over, which reduces your academic performance. What you can do to solve this problem is plan and schedule ahead of time. For instance, if you know that your exam is coming up, start preparing for it at least 2 weeks in advance. Whatever the portion size is, you can divide it into small sections and revise them on a daily or weekly basis that is leading up to your exam so that you feel confident and prepared to take on that exam. You can also also revise portions that you learn, for instance, on one day of the class right after you come back to your dorm or your room or wherever you stay, so that that information which is fresh in your brain can go into your long-term memory. Anybody and everybody who knows me will tell you that I'm absolutely against multitasking. That's because multitasking actually drastically reduces your productivity. Yes, it might sound really counterintuitive because you might feel that you're getting more work done in a small amount of time, and that is better, but that's just not true because you're decreasing the rate at which you're getting each of those single tasks done together. Moreover, multitasking doesn't really allow you to focus on one single thing, therefore it drastically reduces the quality of anything that you produce. Your brain is naturally built to focus on one thing at a time, and so if you're multitasking, your brain is likely to not perform that well. So no, multitasking is not speeding you up, it's slowing you down. Research shows that multitaskers usually over time develop worse memory because they have a lower sustained attention ability, and multitasking can also be detrimental to your mental health. So what you can do instead for this one is pretty easy. You can just focus on one task at a time. If you have a lot of things going on around you, you should probably learn how to prioritize. You should pick one thing, focus on that, finish that, and then move on to the next one. I promise you, step by step, you will be able to get all your work done. A lot of times students think that only what they're studying, only the topics covered in a particular textbook or lecture or whatever seems easy or broad will be covered, but that is usually not the case. Instead of visualizing what your question paper or exam paper is going to look like, you should probably start studying and plan ahead so that you can finish all your portion. Only when you're done with your revising your portion at least once, then should you narrow down and focus on the broad topics, because then that will give you more confidence that you've learned everything and you're ready to take that exam. Thank you so much for watching this video, guys. If these tips helped you, please consider subscribing to the channel, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye!